How's it going, everyone? It's Djeeta here, bringing you another Granblue versus Rising video, and today I'll be doing my character overview guide. Within this guide, I'll briefly go over each character's moveset and playstyle so you can better choose the character that's best for you. Again, these moveset mentions will be brief as there's a ton of characters to talk about, but it should be enough to give you the general idea of what each character playstyle is like. So we started off with Gran and Djeeta here, as they're the two main characters of the game, and what better way to show off the new stage and of course the new outfits as well. So starting off with Gran here, Gran is going to be your main Shoto character, so he's going to have solid buttons, nothing too crazy. So this is just standing light, his crouching light, his stand medium, and his crouching medium. His crouching medium is going to be plus, and his close light attack is also going to be plus. He has his large, big, heavy attack, which goes well in tandem with his special moves, and of course, as a Shoto, he has the special moves you expect. He has a fireball, he has a DP, which is invincible in the medium version and the EX version. And the unique thing about his M fireball is that the rising portion of this actually stops other fireballs. So if it's a single hit version of another fireball, then he will be able to stop it and bring out his. So as long as you time it correctly, you should be able to deflect the other person's fireball and then put out your own. So that's one unique thing about his. He also has this pretty good sweep. The sweep is very low profile, so it can actually go under things like fireballs themselves. As you can see, and actually go under like normals and stuff too. So this is going to be something that you'll be seeing a lot, as it goes very well with his other special move, which is his Rekka. So you use this for his Rekka, or you can do the fireball. So for his Rekka, it's this first is slash, and then it is his boot. So it goes into his boot right here. Now the boot is very unsafe on blocking. You can do the boot by itself with the medium version. It's very unsafe on block up close. However, if you do it at a distance, it actually is very plus. Sometimes I believe it's so plus that you can even combo from it. So you get some really nice things from that. Also, the EX version of this is one of his main combo starters in the corner, as it gives a wall bounce opportunity. So you can go for some big damage off of the EX boot inside of the corner. Now, Gran's unique button is actually going to be this charge attack, so you can charge up to many different levels, and when it gets to the max level, it becomes an invincible wall splat, and you actually can combo from this in the corner when spaced out correctly. So you can charge this at any point and then let go at any point, but only the 4th level is going to actually be invincible. But you could do multiple versions of charges or let go at any point, and it can sort of be a feint in your pressure, so you can do stuff like this. People think you're going to do the attack, because it is an attack and it's pretty well spaced out. Then it actually is pretty safe. So when it's spaced out, it's pretty safe, and he doesn't have anything that goes this distance, so it actually does come in really fast. Outside of doing the unsafe boot, this is something you can use at a distance like this without having to worry about you actually being unsafe from the boot at this distance. So it's a very good move just to toss out in like this range and still be safe. So also with the charges, once again, it does become a wall splat, which gives you a combo opportunity once it's fully charged. So if you want an all-around character that has a fireball, has a DP, and has a basic general game plan that can teach you the game of Granblue, then Gran will be the person for you. Now, talking about Djeeta, there's not much different from Gran here, actually. So she has really good buttons. Her standing light kick, crouching light, her standing medium is going to be a really fast button. Crouching medium is also a fast button. This button isn't going to be plus like Gran's, however, but her close light will be, and she does have the standing heavy twirl attack, as you can see here. The difference between their fireballs is actually hers charges up, but it can still beat another fireball, a single hit fireball, if it's fully charged like this. So you can charge a fireball, and it actually can beat a single hit fireball as well, just like Gran's, but in a different manner. He also has access to a DP, again with the medium version, and the EX version also being invincible, and she has access to a charge attack of her own. So once again, when it's fully charged, she will be able to have an invincible attack like this. Hers is slightly different. It's like sort of like a little stump. It's not an overhead, so you don't have to worry about that. But it does give you a combo opportunity in the corner when it's fully charged. It's invincible. Yeah, you can combo off this in the corner from that. The other thing similar to Gran she has is, of course, a Rekka. So she has a Rekka as well. So this is the first part, and the second part being this second slash that she does. So the second slash right there is unsafe. However, it's pretty easy to confirm the first 2 hits into this, so you should have no issues with that. And the EX version of this is going to also be her wall bounce. So you do this in the corner, the wall bounces, and you can combo from it in the corner, just like Gran's boot. So you should have no issues converting between Gran and Djeeta pretty well, as they have very similar game plans and very similar play styles as far as how they work. Now, talking about Katalina and Charlotta. So Katalina is also going to be another great all-arounder, but with a little bit more range to boot than Djeeta and Gran, as you can see. So she has very nice range on her pokes. Her standing light goes really far. Her Crouching medium also is a very far poke. Her standing medium very far. Heavy attack is also very far. Standing heavy is very good. Just very good pokes all around. She has access to her own fireball, so she has access to a fireball game. The light version being slower, the medium version being faster. He also has access to a DP, so you have the invincible version on the medium and the EX like usual. But the unique thing about her is she has this lunging attack. So this attack is very unsafe if you do it up close. However, it is very good at tip range. So with the tip range of this, it is actually safe on block. And the unique thing about this is she actually moves back when she does it. So things that would normally hit her don't actually hit her because of the step back. So you can actually whiff punish people with this move very well. The other thing about this is the EX version can be held. You don't really see this too much, but I guess it could be something to try to throw off your opponent's timing or something. So there's something to keep in mind as far as her tools go. And the real unique thing about this character is going to be her shield thing. So her shield is going to have armor attached to it, and she can actually backdash and forward dash cancel it. Once it's fully charged, it actually becomes a crumple, and she can actually combo off of this. By the way, for her combos, her lunge will be her wall bounce. That will be the thing that starts off her combos to go for big damage. So with Katalina's shield, you can armor through one hit, but keep in mind this will do damage to you. So if you don't have the life to actually do this, this will actually kill you. So you got to make sure you have the life to tank whatever you're trying to hit. But you can go through it and actually punish your opponent. Or if it's something massive, you can dash cancel it and try to go for a bigger combo if you have the ability to do so. If you want a character that excels in the mid-range and has the same pretty much game plan as Gran and Djeeta as far as having a fireball, having a DP, but having access to good pokes and a lunge, then Katalina may be the character for you. Now, talking about Charlotta. So Charlotta is going to be a very unique character in the fact that they actually have a really good jump. So in this game, characters have different fall speeds as far as their jump, and Charlotta is very infamous at falling down really fast. So if you want a character that can jump around a lot and probably get away with it, Charlotta actually may be the character for you. Now, one thing about this character is they actually do have a charge move in the form of this Charlotta ball right here. So this little rolling attack that they have is going to be one of the main tools that they use to basically pressure their opponents. It's pretty safe as far as like when they use it. It's kind of hard for opponents to actually punish it, and it is very hard to deal with because it is extremely fast. One other thing that she's going to have access to is sort of these rapid slashes. Nothing really crazy happens outside of this, but the EX version can be comboed from. You go into your other special moves, and yes, the roll is going to be her wall bounce, which allows her to actually go into massive damage. She does have another charge move, which is down and up, which is her DP. So she has a charge move for back and forward, which is this, and down and up, which is this. So yes, she is a charge character, but keep in mind that this game does have easy inputs. So don't let that scare you from actually playing this character. So you do have access to some pretty good things. Her unique attack is going to be the shield attack. So up close, this will actually shield an attack of an opponent. And you get a special animation like that. So it's not too much damage, but you do get some damage nonetheless. And this can be something that can help her out. But this isn't the only things inside her toolkit, because she actually has a demon flip like move that really helps out her game plan. So Charlotta's flip actually has a couple of things it can do. So the regular version, if you don't press anything, will just go for a low. The other version will go for a slam overhead. One of the versions is a mid attack that actually is plus, so you can actually combo from this if this actually hits. And the other one is a grab if they stand up. So if they think you're going for the overhead, you can actually just grab them. And yes, you can combo from the grab from the EX version, especially inside of the corner. So this becomes very scary once you think about all the options that she actually have available to her. Tackle that with her very fast ability to actually get in. With this, having a really fast recovery and really fast coming in. And the ability to actually be able to jump without having to worry about getting anti-aired as much, just because of how fast she actually is when it comes to that. Now, her normals, of course, being a short character, she doesn't have the most range, so she has to use the access to this and her really fast jump in order to try to get in, along with just trying to create space for herself. Now, she does have this attack, which is a little bit deceptive. She does move backwards a bit, so things that would normally hit her won't actually hit her, and this is her biggest attack that she actually has. But keep in mind, it does have a lot of recovery on whiff, so just keep that in mind. But her buttons aren't the craziest, but just keep that in mind when you're playing her, that you will have to use her special moves more often than some other characters do inside of her neutral game plan. So talking about Lancelot and Percival. So Lancelot doesn't have the best reaching normals. However, he makes up for it with his speed and movement ability. So one thing to help him actually get in is his fireball. So this fireball starts up pretty slow and can actually run behind it. This allows him to actually close the distance if the opponent allows him to get this out. If they try to jump over it, he can sit right there and actually get the anti-air pretty easily. Another thing to help him actually get in is this lunge attack. While it is unsafe if done up close, it can be pretty safe if done at a distance, and if it actually hits the wall, you actually do get a combo from this. So this is going to be one of his main combo starters inside of the corner. Another thing Lancelot has for trickery is this ability to teleport. So this ability to teleport is a way for him to reset this pressure. And the reason why this is so good is because his jump attack actually has 2 hits to it. As you can see, it actually does 2 hits on the way down with his jump H. So you can actually go into the jump H really low, and it actually does 1 hit and go for the low. So you could change between double hits of this or 1 hit of this and go into the low, which makes it very scary for the opponent to deal with. Now, if the opponent starts to try to anti-air you, he actually has the ability to make this invincible. So if you do this attack, you can come down with this invincible version of it. So you can stop people from trying to throw you or trying to actually anti-air you. However, this is unsafe, but it is an option that can keep him safe if they try to go for these options. Another thing to talk about for Lancelot is his Rekka series. So this Rekka series is very scary for opponents to deal with because it is a 3-part Rekka. So what this means is Lancelot can actually have the ability to steal his turn back when this is spaced out correctly, because you can actually just go for the first hit and steal your turn back, or you can go for the second hit if you think they're going to mash and steal your turn back from there, or you could go for the whole thing if you think they're going to mash because you're trying to steal your turn back on either the first or second. Now, the third hit is going to be very unsafe, so you don't want to do that as much, but it is an option you can do if you think your opponent is going to try to mash out. So this Rekka is very annoying for people to deal with because of how it functions and how he can keep trying to get his turn back because they don't know which part of the Rekka you're going to end on. Now, to accompany all of this, Lancelot has very good movement options in the form of his unique ability. So his unique ability is going to be this thing that swoops him across the screen, as you can see. And from this, he can do a lot of things. So if you press it again, he stops immediately. If you press it again backwards, he'll go backwards. If you go forward, he'll actually try to cross the opponent up. And then the up version will actually just jump up. So you can jump up, and the jump version actually has a crossover ability. So it can cross up. So you can dash at the opponent, go up, and then cross them up like this. So you can do all these different types of trickery things when it comes to how you want to move around the opponent. Very good movement overall, but the fact that he could do this from his normals, he can really try to set up some tricky movement things and really try to trick his opponent up. So if you want a character that has very tricky movement, very fast movement, ability to come in behind a fireball, and has just very fast speed overall with the ability to, you know, fly in the air and stuff like that, this may be the character for you. Now, unlike Lancelot, Percival actually has a lot of range in the form of his standing heavy attack. This attack is massive. It covers a lot of range and does a massive damage when actually confirmed properly. And standing medium is also pretty big as well. His crouching medium, not the biggest, but also does the job. Crouching light is also a pretty big light, if I may say so myself. This light actually goes pretty far. And his standing light doesn't hit crouchers that well, but it does the job inside of combos. So the main thing about Percival is this ability to gain stock. So this stock is going to be one of his main moves. The light version is going to give 1, and the medium version is going to give 2. However, if you use the EX, this will give you all 5, which is the max he could do normally. However, if you use the ultimate skill version, you will get all 9 just like that. So you can get all 9 of your stacks just off of the one version of the ultimate skill, just like this. Now, what are these stacks actually important for? Well, we take a look at his other special moves. He has a fireball, which is pretty slow at first, and then the fast one is the medium version. Doesn't really do anything outside of just hitting the opponent. He has access to a DP, which does like 2 hits normally, and then it does 3 hits on the medium version. And then he have access to this sort of Rekka move where it actually goes into a slot and has different follow-ups. So he has this follow-up, which is like a low. He has this one, which is plus. It's not an overhead, but it's plus. And then he has this sort of stinger attack. But if he has stocks, all of this stuff all of a sudden changes. So now that we have a stock, if we do a fireball, we'll see that they actually launch up in the air, which gives you more frame advantage. This also happens for his EX version. And this version launches so high, he can actually get a combo from it. Same thing with his DP. So his DP normally did 2 hits. As you see, it does 2 hits still. But the medium version now does 7 hits and launches them way higher up in the air, which gives you a lot more frame advantage to work with. And the same thing applies to his new attack that we're talking about, this right here. So this right here is going to actually give him a brand new animation when he actually has a stock. He's going to have like sort of this screen thing right there. So you see how the screen like pulls in, like it's more cinematic. This gives you more damage because it is the clean hit version. So getting this is the main things you want to do inside of this mode right here. And this is going to give him the main damage that he is looking for. You can also do the ultimate skill version, which is also going to give him a lot of damage as well. So utilizing these is going to be the main thing this character is going to do. And he can get them pretty easily from just doing them from his normals. You know, you can pretty much bully your opponent in a corner with fireballs. You kind of keep him here with the slow fireball. You even combo from it because it's so slow. So you can do something like this. And you could go into like the other attacks. You could do this, go into this again, and then, you know, combo it from there. So very easy to confirm and bully ability when you have the opponent in the corner because his normals are just that massive. So you want a character that has some sort of a stock ability and be able to enhance this stuff based on stocks. Percival may be the character for you, especially if you want that range. And one other thing to talk about is his jump U attack. It's pretty good because it actually stalls him in the air. It's actually pretty safe as well, so you can actually bait out anti-airs and still be safe because it halts his momentum inside the air for a little bit, which actually throws off the timing of some anti-airs. So now, talking about Ladiva and Metera. So Ladiva is going to be the grappler of the game. So Ladiva has okay-ish buttons. The standing medium is going to be alright. The crouching medium is going to be this kick right here. Now the standing heavy does have a bit of a problem here where the fact that it doesn't hit crouches very well unless it's really far in like this. So you do have to worry about this, unfortunately, but they do have some other good tools at their disposal. For one, they have this special move that is this sort of launch thing. This also doesn't hit crouchers. However, if it hits a standing opponent, this will count as a guard crush that can actually lead into a combo. So they actually are on block, as you can see, but because of the guard crush, it actually leads into a combo opportunity on the medium version. The light version, just guard crush doesn't lead into anything, but it's still your turn. So you can actually steal your turns back or get turns by coming in with something like this, allowing you to actually get combos or just get plus frames. And of course, what would a grappler be without plus frames into a command grab? So depending on the version you do, is going to dictate how much damage you do and the frame advantage that you will have for the actual grab. So this is something that you're definitely going to be utilizing a lot with this character once you establish your game plan of getting plus frames and trying to scare them with the other things you have. Ladiva does have the benefit of having an anti-air grab as well, so you have access to an anti-air one. So if an opponent does jump at you, you can anti-air them with the anti-air version of the command grab as well. Another thing about Ladiva is they have access to another plus move, which is going to be this headbutt. So this headbutt is going to be plus on the medium version and the EX version. The medium version can be interrupted because of the slow startup. However, the EX version will not be able to, and it has multiple versions of it. So you can keep mashing it, each one more unsafe than the other, but it makes the opponent more scared. So you can go for the plus frames on this one, and then the other one will be safe. The last one, I believe, is probably punishable, but you actually can make your opponent really scared, and you can stagger these pretty well, as you can see. So you don't have to press them right away. You can stagger them and just go for more plus frames and just make them all scared overall. So just go for that one, go for the command grab, go for the second one if you think they're going to try to mash out of the command grab, and so forth. But that's not all of the grabs that Ladiva have, because they have access to one more grab, which is this one right here. So this grab is going to basically make them fly across the screen, and they're going to basically either wall bounce you or throw you up in the air depending on what button you press. So if you press the heavy afterwards, they'll toss them up in the air and you'll be able to do that. Now if you do the regular version, it'll be at a wall bounce and you get a combo from that as well. So depending on where you are on the screen, you'll be able to get combos. Same thing mid-screen. Mid-screen, you don't want to do this version because while it does wall bounce, it makes it a little bit harder to get stuff. But with this version, toss them up in the air like that and you will be able to actually get a combo opportunity from the actual throw. So there's quite a few things that this character has at their disposal. Again, they are going to be a little bit on the slower side when it comes to their run speed and stuff like that. So they're not going to be a character that's going to have massive ability to actually come in. But once they actually get in, they are very scary to deal with. Now, Metera is going to be the complete opposite in the fact that they are a zoner inside the game. So as this bow may tell, they are going to be zoning you with a bunch of arrows and stuff. So their main attacks are actually pretty good. This is going to actually be a standing low attack actually. So this standing low, and it could chain into itself a couple of times before you actually go into something else. They're going to have this really big standing medium. This isn't an overhead though, so don't have to worry about that. But this is a very big attack. And then they have access to arrows on their heavy attack. So the heavy attack is actually going to be projectile based in the form of these arrows. So this is the crouching one and this is the standing one, and they actually do this in tandem with their actual other arrows, which are their special moves. So the 236 version is going to be the high and this one is going to be a low. So this one is going to actually just cover, like, you know, people are standing. This one covers people that are still on the ground. They just cover different angles. This actually isn't a low, but it actually just covers a different angle than this one. And of course, you have the ones that actually go in the air and then rain down. These are very good inside of just trying to cover space, but also in combos, because close up, it actually can hit the opponent when they're standing. Just like that. So it actually can be pretty good to use in combos, and you will see this a lot inside of certain combos for this character. Now, one of the unique things about this character is the fact that they actually have this butterfly thing, and when you actually have things pass through the butterfly, it actually creates this effect that actually makes it explode. As you can see, you can put multiple on the field and have them explode like this. You can actually hit them with multiple different things. So as long as you're hitting these, you'll have access to being able to explode the butterflies, and this will create some really crazy setups once you really start to understand this character. You put this in tandem with their unique attack, which is the ability to hop around, and you have a very scary character because their jump medium is actually 2 hits. So just like how we talked about with Lancelot, this character has the ability to do 2 hits of this, or 1 hit when you do it low and then go for a low, or you can actually just empty jump or go for throw. So really good, decent mix up right off the bat. You can actually do this in the air as well, but only in one direction, because on the ground you can do it twice. So you can hop back and then forward, or you can hop forward and then back. But however, in the air you can only do 1 hop, so you only hop forward or you can hop back. You can also do her special moves in the air, so you can actually do these arrows with 2 different angles. So you can hop forward, toss out an arrow, hop back, toss out arrows, and cover 2 different angles depending on which version that you do. So there's a lot of projectiles to do things with, but she also is actually very devastating up close because of the ability to set up things like this and be able to go for setups where she puts these butterflies on you. These things explode and then she could come in off of them like this. So this also creates good damage opportunities as well as good mix-up opportunities. So don't think this character is just a zoner. He actually is very good at being pressured or pressuring the opponent up close when it comes to having set play options when it comes with the butterflies. So this character is going to be a little bit more technical, but if you don't mind putting in the work, this character may be the character for you. So next up, talking about Lowain and Ferry. So Lowain was my main character in the last game, so I know quite a bit about him, but we're going to keep it brief like the other characters. So Lowain is going to be a tricky set play character. So there's a lot of things with this character that are very unorthodox, just with how the things work with him. And yeah, he just has a lot of unique things. So talking about some of his moves, so his buttons are actually not that bad. His standing medium is really good as far as the range that it covers. His crouching medium is actually pretty good as well. His standing heavy doesn't have as much range as his standing medium, which is unfortunate because of how the crush system works, but it's not a bad button to say the least. His slide is actually really good, so he has a slide for his 2U. So his sweep is actually a slide, and he can actually combo off this when used with certain special moves. So talking about some of his special moves, he has some very unique things. So he has access to this Katalina bot. This Katalina bot has a couple of things. So it has access to this right here, which is going to be this punch sequence. It does 2 hits, and you could combo off this. So when it's actually hitting, you can actually combo off of it. And there's this other version where it's just laser. So these both count as the same special move. So it's 2 moves within 1 special move. This actually changes again on the EX to these rockets. So this is actually some way where he could actually come in, or he could cover himself to do some of the other things. He also have access to his brothers. So the light version is going to be this sliding one. This is actually a low. And then he has access to the other brother, which is this, which isn't an overhead, but it covers the air space. And if you use both of them, the EX, then they actually do both of them together, and they actually can combo, which is really nice. The other special move he has is the slice attack right here. So this attack is going to be one of his main combo confirmed. So if you get like straight hits like this, you could go into the medium version to actually combo. The light version is safer on blocks, so if you don't know if you're going to hit, this is the version you're probably going to use. But the M version is going to be the one that you're going to be using to actually confirm the things. The EX version is going to be his wall mounts, and this allows him to actually get his combos going. Now, the reason I say Lowain is a set play character is because of how his actual sequences work. So when he actually hits you, he'll set up something like this to where he can actually have the brothers or have the actual Katalina bot set up to where it can cover the actual opponent on their wake up while he sits there and blocks. So he can do something like this and have the actual bot actually covers the opponent while he is blocking, and he could pretty much be safe from situations that they're actually trying to do. And yeah, it's really good to actually just see what the opponent is doing and then come up with different game plans depending on what you want to happen. So he has multiple different set play sequences they could do with the brothers or with the Katalina bot to really open the opponent up to try to trick them into different things. So one other unique thing about Lowain is his U button, which actually gives him both health and meter back depending on the food that he eats. You can see when I press this, I get meter, or sometimes I'll get health. As you can see, the health is sort of blinking. I don't know why it like works like that, but he'll get health or meter back depending on which food item that he gets. It's completely random. You can't really choose what it is, but it goes in tandem with him tossing out stuff in neutral and then setting it up to where he can gain a bunch of meter or get life back as he run away. One of the best things about him as well is his really far backdash. You can see his backdash goes extremely far, so it goes very nice with him being able to set up stuff, run in, do stuff, and then go back, toss out more stuff, and then be able to actually get food and stuff like that again. So him being very annoying in the neutral while also being able to get food is one of his main game plans he could do. Now, talking about his supers because of how unique they are, we're going to talk about some of his supers. So this super where he has the bros, he actually is fully invincible, or as far as super armor, so you can't actually knock him out of it. He can take damage, however, you won't be able to actually knock him out of it. So once inside of this, you have access to a couple moves. Light is going to be his rapid slash. M is going to be these like sort of anti-air attacks. The heavy version is going to be this overhead, and the U button is going to be this low, and the ender is going to be the easy input button, as you can see here. So utilizing these, you can actually combo the opponent depending on the sequence that you do and actually get some pretty good damage. Now his other super, his super scout bound art, is going to be this Yiggy super where he actually controls the goddess. The light is going to be these rocks. The M version is going to be these balls they tossed out. The U version is going to be this sort of electricity that he can toss out, and this actually pulls the opponent towards the electricity. And the heavy version is going to be this unblockable lava attack. Now with the ball, you can actually hold it and make it slower to actually come up with setups. So there's all different types of setups and stuff you could do, sort of try to make it like unblockable situations and stuff. It's a real mini game that the opponent has to understand how to play, and it can really steal games. So if you want a character that has real trickery when it comes to setups, set play, really annoying the opponents, and then have the ability to steal games with his supers, Lowain will probably be the character for you. Now Ferry is going to be another zoner within the game. However, this time we're not using projectiles, but we're using a whip. So she has very large normals with her standing medium, her crouching medium, and her standing heavy, having very large range, as you can see. Her standing light also has pretty good range, as you can see as well, so this is definitely nothing to actually forget about. Her crouching light isn't the most range, however, it is going to be a low for when she actually gets in, because this character is actually very scary when she is actually up close as well. This character also has the unique ability to actually dive kick, so their JU is going to be a dive kick that you can put in different directions, and depending on how it hits, this can be something that is plus. This character also has pretty good safety when it comes to their special moves, because this actually pushes out pretty far and it puts them at the perfect distance where they can actually start pressing their light up button again. Same thing with their medium version, so pushing them very far, as you can see. This is going to be something that you're going to utilize to push yourself out to get you at the perfect range to where you can start pressuring the opponent once again with your far-reaching normals. To put in tandem with this, they also have this little GG thing they have put out. I guess their name is GG. So yeah, they put out this little ghost rat mouse thing, and this thing basically sits there and electrocutes the opponent like this. It also can anti-air opponents very well, so if you see an opponent in the air, it can be something that can anti-air them, as you can see. So don't be afraid to actually utilize this if you want to try to anti-air someone. Now the main thing about GG is it's really good for setup. So what it will happen is it will sit there and electrocute you, and you can go for pretty much 50-50. So you'll have it there and you'll go for this, and it'll basically electrocute them and you can combo from that. Or if they think you're going to go over airhand and stand up, you can just go for your standing low. So this is why this character is very scary, because there's multiple setups you can do where she actually forces this type of situation. One of those situations is dealing with her whip move right here. So this move right here, the regular version just hits them. The M version will actually hit them like this, or you can pull them in. So if you press it again, it will actually explode. But if you actually pull them, they'll come close to you. Now, however, if you do the actual EX version, you can actually put GG right there, and this is the perfect way to actually start setting up some of your setups. So you can actually go for some GG setups here and sort of just have them, you know, take the mix up right there, and it is very scary for the opponent to deal with. Now, one of the main anti-air tools this character is going to have is going to be this tool right here. So this is going to be their main anti-air tool. As you can see, the EX version is going to be the best version at anti-airing, and as you can see, she doesn't have any invincible attacks. However, if you use the ultimate skill version, this actually does become invincible. So she does have to spend 50 meter for a DP, but she does have a DP nonetheless. If you want a character that is going to excel at having really good mix-up, some of the best mix-up in the game, as well as being able to control the spacing and the pace of the game, then Ferry may be for you. Now, talking about Zeta and Vaseraga. So Zeta is going to be a character that excels at getting in and getting out, along with having a decent fireball game. So her fireball is going to be this laser right here. The light version is going to be this very fast version. The V version is going to be a little bit slower, but it can be charged up like this. So this can actually throw off your opponent's timing when they're trying to spot dodge or roll through it or actually jump over it. It can actually land on top of this because you can actually hold it to throw off timing. That is also going to have access to some pretty good buttons, as you can see. So her standing medium, her crouching medium, her standing heavy, all very good range, and her standing light kick has very good range as well. Even her 2L got really good range in tandem with her standing light kick, as you can see. And one of the main things this character is good at is getting in and getting out, and that is access to this move right here. This move allows them to actually go forward and then actually choose another direction of their choice. So it's omnidirectional, and you can actually do it in the air, the first part, and then choose the other direction when it goes. So if I want to go back up, if I want to go backwards, if I want to go forward, up forward, if I want to go straight, you can choose the direction that you want to go after the initial hit. So it is very good for seeing if you can get a hit and then like backing back out, or actually extending into a double hit like this. Now, the unique thing about this is the EX version actually gives you 3 of these, so you can go in, once again, any direction you want for all 3 hits. So if I want to go up and then down, and then that allows you to actually combo from it again, as you can see like this. So it can create some pretty nice combo opportunities for this character, depending on the sequences that you actually put in mind. So if you have sequences in mind, chances are you could probably find something that can actually allow you to get a combo with this type of character. Another thing about this character is going to be her parry. So while she doesn't have access to a DP, she does have access to this armored parry, and this armored parry is going to have a couple of follow-ups. So the first follow-up, the light, is going to be this little swipe attack, which is going to be something that you're going to see a couple of times. The medium version is going to be this upward swipe attack, as you can see here. So all these options are pretty good. Some of them are used in combos and stuff like that as well. But the main version you're going to see a lot is this little lunge attack here. And that's because this is going to be something that is going to allow you to be comboed from, and is going to just be something that is going to just help her out, get out of situations, and allow her to change the situation to her favor, like something like that. So you can use it as a reversal because it is armored, and then actually turn it into a combo situation off of the lunge itself. While it is slower than some of the other options, it is probably her best option. Now, talking about the lunges again, she does have an up one, which goes at a diagonal angle, as you can see. The other version actually goes straight up, and once again, she can control where she goes in the next one. So it is, the first one goes in a direction, and then you choose the next direction that you want to go. So if you want freedom of being able to control where your character goes as far as like how their special moves go, this may be a character for you. Also, for the EX version, it actually goes 3 times again, just like the other one. So that is something to keep in mind. Now, one other unique thing about this character is going to be their U attack, which is the stab attack right here. So it does a couple of stabs. However, if you mash it, it actually does a bunch of stabs, you can see. So there's a bunch more stabs, goes from 4 hits to 10 hits. And when done in the air, this turns into a pogo mode. So you can actually just sit here and do this. Very annoying for the opponent to deal with. While this isn't overheads itself, the attacks that come afterwards are overheads. So this can be quite annoying for people to deal with, because of the mix-up opportunity that comes from this. They don't know if you're gonna, do the overhead at this point, whether you overhead the next point or come down with a throw or come down with a low. Is all types of crazy things this character could do, and you can get really creative with how you actually structure your offense. So if you want a character with a sense of safety with having to come in, if you want a character that has a sense of safety with coming in, if you want a character with a sense of safety that has the ability to come in, come out, has the ability to laser, and has some pretty good offense because of this pogo, then Zeta may be the character for you. Now, Vaseraga is going to be the big body character of this game. So as a big body with a giant axe, he's going to have some pretty big normals in the form of this standing ace. This is going to be a huge button, as you can see, and you put this in tandem with some of his other moves like his fireball, for example, and you got a very scary character to deal with, especially when they have your back against the wall. Some other notable normals are going to be his standing light, which goes pretty far as well, and his crouching medium kick, which is actually going to be a unique ability of being another sweep. So this actually is going to cause a hard knockdown, which is pretty uncommon in this game for a crouching medium to actually do something like this. Unique thing about his heavy buttons as well is they have the ability to be charged. So if you hold this, you can actually charge this attack, and it goes for his anti-air as well. So it's 2H, which is giant buttons. You can see you're gonna hold this as well, and when it's actually charged, you get massive damage opportunities from both of these attacks. Now, being a slower character, he does need the help getting in, so he has his ability to actually put on this armor. So when he puts his armor on, he can actually have the ability to actually tank hits when he does things like this. As you see, it took the armor thing away once I used it, and that is because this is one of the moves that it actually covers. So when you use moves that this armor move covers, then it is going to basically tank hits for you. So if a person tries to hit this, they will be in a world of hurt because they will not be able to go through the hits of armor. Another thing Vaseraga has is access to a command grab, so he can command grab you when he is up close. He also can do it pretty far away when he has the EX version, so he can actually lunge in and actually get a swoop and grab like that. And if you think you're safe by jumping, well, he has that covered too with an anti-air command grab, so he does have access to that. Now, one of the main things about this character is going to actually be his stance. So when he actually does this, he goes into a stance and he holds it for a bit, and there's a couple of things he can do. The one, he can walk forward, and when he walks forward, he actually just starts stomping at you like this. You have to worry about him coming at you like this, and if you want to try to press something, well, he can say no with this giant super armor unique attack. So you have to be very scared about the options that are coming. He has the slash attack, which is very big. It goes very far, as you can see. He also has access to this giant low attack, as you can see here. And he has access to this slam attack. So he has access to a lot of different things here, and some of them are combo starters, and some of them you can actually use in your combos themselves. So he has a lot of unique things that helps him once to get in, and once in, become a very scary character. So once in, again, he has access to this fireball thing. If he needs help getting in, he has access to things like this where he can charge in. And then once he in, he has command grabs and a stance that literally makes you play a guessing game depending on the different options that he's going to try to use. So very scary character once in, and has a okay-ish time trying to get in with the ability to put up armor. So if you want a big body character that does massive damage and is very scary once they get in, Vaseraga may be the character for you. Now to talk about Narmaya and Soriz. So Narmaya is a very unique character in the game in the fact that she has two move sets of special moves. So this is one of her stances right here, which is the stance you start off with, and then you see I can change, and you can see the icons at the top actually just switch, and she changes the position of her sword from sheathed to unsheathed, as you can see. So I basically like to put these stances in two categories. This one, the one you start off with, is going to be her neutral stance, where she's going to have access to bigger buttons in the neutral. And this stance is going to be the one where she's up close and is going to have better frame advantage overall. So starting off with the sheath stance. So this is going to be her main stance right here that you're going to start off with, and her buttons are really good. So the light version, nothing really crazy here. Same with this. It is a low attack though, so you have to worry about that. The standing medium is very, very good, as you can see, as far as the range, and the crouching medium also has very good range. Same with the standing heavy. The standing heavy has very good range as well. So she has very good range on her normals when she is in this stance. As far as her special moves go, they're either going to help her control the spacing or allow her to close the distance. So she has access to this dash attack, which allows her to like speedily go across the screen. The M version actually is going to teleport past the opponent like this, and the EX version is just going to be faster overall as far as the recovery and speed go. Now the other move she has access to is going to be this sort of projectile slash attack. So it goes extremely far, as you can see, very, very far, and the M version actually is the other special move. So you can see the light version actually covers the special move, and the M version actually covers the special move. As you can see, this version right here is going to actually be plus if you charge it. So it actually has have a charge, you see. So this is it normally, and this is if you charge it, and you can make it extremely plus and safe as far as the space control when you are at a distance like this. So this is going to be her main fireball she can use. Very good once it actually hits the screen. So the other thing she has access to is actually a DP. So once again, the M version and EX versions are going to be invincible like the other characters. Now, once you actually unsheathe the sword, this is going to be your other stance, which I say is better for when she's up close. So you're going to lose access to your bigger normals. So your normals aren't that bad as far as their range, but they're not going to be as big as the other ones. However, you do have access just to some better overall frame data as far as your normals go, and have access to some pretty good normals or special moves when you are up close. So you're going to have access to this sort of flip move. This move is going to be good for actually messing people up as far as, you know, crossing them up or just going for quick, fast resets because of the advantageousness of this move as far as how it can work. You also have access to this rapid slash attack. This is going to be very good for your combo. So very good for a combo starter. Even though it doesn't do a wall bounce in the corner, it actually still gives you a combo, so you don't have to worry about that. Unfortunately, in this mode, you don't have access to the actual invincible move, but you do have access to an armored DP. So this move is going to be armored. It's not going to be a real DP. It's just armored. So you do have access to that, but it's just going to be slightly different. Now, the unique thing about her stances is that it is very instant when you're actually doing it in combos. So if I do an auto combo here and I do it, you can see you can switch in the middle of the stance, no problem, and go into the special moves or the buttons of your choice. So it's very instant when you're actually doing it inside of combos. So that's something to definitely keep in mind when you're actually playing this character. So you could go in and out of stances that you want very quickly to get into the situation that you need for where you are on the screen, or just for the situation that you want. So if you want a character that has two different move sets and have the ability to play some solid neutral along with some very tricky ways to like stay on the opponent, then Narmaya may be the character for you. Now, Soriz is all about brawling, so he really wants to get in. So he has this dashing launch punch to really help him get inside there, as you can see. So this is going to be light version. Going to be pretty fast. The medium version going to be slower, but comes in really far, and EX version comes in really far and really fast, as you can see right here. Now he also has access to these sort of punches you can see. So this light version, medium version, and the heavy version. And then he has access to this pillar. So once he's in, this pillar is very scary because you do pressure. You go into this pillar, and the medium version is actually plus. So this is going to be a plus pillar for him, and it actually gives him access to a combo. Same thing with the EX version, so you're going to have access to these plus frames, and you're going to have access to combo abilities from that as well. He has access to this little kick as well, so another thing you could do during certain things, if he like does this and gets blocked, you go for this kick or something like that. So you can play a little bit risky if he wants to, and get like some opportunities as well from things like that. So these are going to be his main special moves that he has. However, the main thing with this character that is really unique is going to be his super. So once he gets inside of this mode, this is where the character changes drastically. So this is his ultimatum mode, and he has access to new moves now. So if we go into the punches, you see the punches does a lot more hits than before, and he can actually do a couple of new things. So you're going to access to this sort of strike right here, as you can see, and he can go into this other attack where he actually goes into like a flying attack like this. So you're going to access to two new moves, as you can see, which is going to help him out as far as his combo ability and just tacking on damage. But he also has access to this brand new super. So when in his mode, he gets access to this super right here, which is basically his install super where he does his giant punch. So not only does he get new moves, and he's going to have the ability to cash out on his actual stack, because when he's in his mode, he actually has the ability to gain basically a big buff from his stacks. Having a lot of stacks means your defense will be increased, so it will be much harder to kill Soriz when he actually has access to this. So getting those stacks early can be nice to actually surviving and tacking on more damage because you have access to more tools inside of your kit. The one character that's a brawler and is very annoying to deal with when it comes to them dashing in or their pressure structures where it comes to actually getting a bunch of plus frames and having the ability to unlock new moves, then Soriz may be the character for you. Now to talk about Zooey and Cagliostro. So Zooey is going to be the summoner or the puppet character of the game because she have access to this unique ability to summon this pet dragon. So the dragon will stay on the screen. As you see, you can launch it at the opponent. You can also do it to where it does these attacks. Depending on where it is, it will stay there and actually do the attack from that distance. So you can actually keep it there and then do these attacks, or if it is close to you, it will do it next to you. If I do it here, you'll see that it does it to me. The heavy version does this giant laser that almost goes full screen, as you see. So not quite full screen, but almost full screen, as you can see. Each one of these attacks is going to take a little bit of the meter. She can charge this meter by using her U. You see it charges it. She could also do an attack from this, and this puts out a lot of the meter back. So you see a lot of the meter comes back when you actually hit with this. One of the good things about that attack is it actually can be comboed into, so you actually can go into combos that utilize that so you can get your meter back, so you can start using the dragon a lot more. But she has a lot more things in her disposal as far as her kit goes. So as far as her normal, she has really good normals. Her standing medium is really good. Her crouching medium is very good as far as the range. Her standing heavy is not bad as far as the range it covers. Just as good as her standing medium pretty much. Her crouching light kick is not bad, and her standing light is also not bad as well. For some of her special moves, she has this Rekka-like ability right here. So this is the first hit of it, and you could go into this knockdown, or you can pop them up in the air like this. In the corner, this pop is going to be very good, especially on the EX version, but this is actually going to allow you to get some combo opportunities like that. So this is going to be something you're definitely going to be using for her combos inside the corner. You also have access to this actual lightning attack right here. So this is the lightning attack. This attack has different ranges that it covers. So this is close, this is far away, and then this one is going to do multiple. Now the unique thing about this is you can actually hold these, and while you continue to hold the button down, it stays there for a while, and you can use your other normals while you actually hold that. This is going to be something that's going to allow her to go for some tricky setups and stuff, so she can have the lightning on them. So something you can see is something like this, where you have it out, and then you can just sort of go for it, and then sort of use it for either pressure or to combo from it and let go and stuff like that. So it allows for some very scary situations for the opponent to deal with once you get down the negative edge of being able to hold down that button. Now another thing she has is being able to do that in the air. So she has the ability to do this lightning strike in the air that covers one angle and this the other, and the EX version is going to do out 2 strikes like that. She also has access to the anti-air attack, which is going to be this attack where she flies in the air like this. The M version is going to be invincible at a point, and so is the EX version, just like this. You see it has invisibility. The M version on the way up doesn't actually hit the opponents, but the EX version does. So this is going to be a good way to end some of your combos. So one of the main strategies of this character is to try to get the dragon out during your pressure. So you can do things like that and sort of follow up from where you actually put it out. So you get knockdowns, and you can sort of set the dragon up from your knockdowns and create situations, or you can set up with the lightning stuff and try to go for things like that. So it's all about using the dragon to come up with setups and utilizing the lightning for different setups so you can land the hits that you want. So she is a very scary character to deal with. Unfortunately, we don't have the universal overhead in the game no more, so she doesn't have access to, I believe, the best mix-ups she did before, but she does have very scary pressure to deal with, to say the least. Now, speaking of a character that love to have setups and trap the opponent is Cagliostro, because they love to set up these traps, and these traps are going to allow them to actually trap the opponent. So if you actually hit them, they're going to trap them, and they allow you to actually pick up for combos. So that's one of the unique things about this character, is being able to set up these and basically hitting the opponent into these and having sequences happen to where you can hit them into multiple versions of them and do mini combos from those type of situations. Another unique thing about this character is their U ability. So they actually have the ability to actually just have this rock, and as the rock gets bigger and bigger until they're ready to actually release it at their own pace. So you can actually just release it like right off the bat, so you don't actually have to charge it up. But when you do charge it up, it becomes bigger and bigger until it gets to its max, which is this, and it's very slow and does all these hits, and you can follow behind it, or you can actually pick it up for a combo if you are close enough. Cagliostro also has this like flying ability where she kind of like just flies in with this thing around her. This thing is pretty unsafe, so you don't want to use this in sort of block strings, but it is something that you're going to be utilizing in the corner, because this is what's going to give her her wall bounce. So this is a very good tool. Outside of her special, she has very good buttons. This attack is very big and does multiple hits, so it's very easy to confirm. Her 2H, her anti-air, covers really high space, very good anti-air, and it sets up for when you have the traps out. It leads into very good things for that. This move is actually very good as well. Very far, this move and this move as well. So both of them go very far as what they cover, and allows for her to confirm into many things that need. so she can actually start going into some of the setups that she wants to try to go for. One last unique thing about this character is the fact that they actually have a teleport. So the light version is going to teleport them backwards slightly. The B version is going to teleport them really far forward and can actually cross up the opponent. So it's not always full screen cross up, but it can cross up from very far. From very far, like full screen, it's going to go majority of the screen away to get closer to them. Now, when you actually do it, you see it will cross up and it'll be pretty close to them. The EX version is going to actually be very fast and invincible, as you see. So it's going to be something that you could use, try to use as a wake up option. I don't believe it's frame 1, but it is something that is going to be invincible in the later frames. It can be used inside combos as well to pick up. So it can be used for a combo starter and for a side switch inside combos. And it can actually be done in the air, so this is very good for stalling, like jumping and then like tricking your opponent that you're about to do something and then you flip out of the way or whatever. This can also be used in tandem with air normal. So if you jump in with something like, say, like a jump heavy, you could do this and then go into another one. So you can do this and then go into another air attack like that, cross up. Very ambiguous for like how this thing works. It can very be tricky for the opponent to actually deal with. So having her teleports available to her in the air as an option that she can special cancel to is very annoying and very oppressive sometimes to deal with, along with all the traps and stuff she can have set around the map for the opponent to deal with, because you can have up to 4 at one time, and this can be very tricky to actually try to maneuver around. The last special we're going to talk about is going to be her spear series. So her spear, the light version actually pushes them far, and the B version actually pushes them towards you. The X version is going to actually just be a fast version of the light. However, these are very good in tandem with her actual up ones, because they actually push them into it. So if you want a way to actually get them to the up ones, you have one like right above them, some way around here, but you need to push them into that. Then you have the B version to push them up there. That way you can hit them and then follow up for a combo. So very good for actually, you know, starting her combos or actually frame trapping into things that can lead into combos when you have her actual thing set up. So if you want a character that excels at setting up characters and good at controlling space when it comes to their traps and just having really good buttons overall, then Cagliostro may be the character for you. Now, talking about Yuel and Anre. So Yuel is going to be a good mid-range character that's going to have some very nice range on their attack. So their light is going to be this little light kick right here. You can see their 2L, not bad range as far as this go. Their standing medium is a really good button because it moves them forward very far. This button used to be even better, believe it or not, but it goes really far and it's very easy to confirm because it's 2 hits. The crouching medium is going to be this attack right here, not a bad button at all. And this is going to be standing heavy. This button is very good at counter poking other things. It's not going to have as much range as this move, obviously, but it's very good at counter poking other buttons and just leading in some nice damage. So overall, nice set of buttons for this character. But where this character excels at is their ability to move around the screen with the things that they have. So one of the unique things about this character is this flip move right here. So this move they can use inside of pressure or in block strings and sort of go for a reset pressure. So they sort of flip back and then they come back in. This is going to be very plus and can even lead into combos. It can also go into a low. So if you do the other version, it can go to a low attack, and this low also is going to be something that can actually combo from. So this is not an overhead, so don't think this is the overhead and this is a low. So it's not actually a mix-up. However, if you happen to do the low is going to give you a combo as well. Now you can do the EX version, and the EX version you can do both. If you press nothing, then you just get the overhead version, or not overhead, but the one that looks like overhead. And then if you press medium, you get the low to happen. So this is how you change between the 2 different ones. And once again, you still get combos from these opportunities and stuff like that. So definitely something you're going to be utilizing inside of her kit. Another special move for this kit is going to be her 236. So it's going to be like this sort of like lunging move she does, where she sort of spirals in. The EX version of this is going to be a wall bounce for her. So this is going to be her main combo starter in the corner, and it's going to allow her to pick up for most of her damage inside of the corner. Talking about her actual DP, she does have a DP, so this is going to be her DP. It is going to be invincible for the medium and the EX versions like most characters, and it's pretty much just her DP or standard DP. Nothing really too crazy to talk about there. The other unique thing about this character though is going to actually be the fact that she has the ability to do this. So this ability is going to be plus actually. So she has a plus version, which is going to be the M version. She still turns back with this. So she has the ability to still turns back with this. Ability to turn back with this, and this version just being a frame trap version right here. She also has the EX version, which is like this. You can also give her combos. So plenty of ways to actually create plus frames for herself, still turns back, and also capitalize on the actual damage. Now, the unique thing about this character is obviously their unique button, which is going to be this flame wheel. So in the air, it turns into this, right? So this is one of the things they could do. This is going to be something that can combo. You can get combos depending on the spacing. So you don't want to do it really high up or it messes up the combo like timing. But you can do it like really low to the ground like this and sort of get it to combo depending on how you hit the opponent. So this is something that you can utilize to try to like come in. It also stalls them in the air, so it can actually like bait out anti-air. So it's also good for stuff like that. Now on the ground, this is what gives her stance, and this is the really unique thing about this character. So when inside the stance, you actually cannot hit her with certain things. So when in stance, if you try to hit her with anything besides a low, then she actually would just counter you like that. So you see I'm trying to hit her and she is just countering me. So you have to actually hit her low in order to hit her out of the stance. Now inside of the stance, she has a couple things she could do. One, she could hop back and forth. So she loses her main movement for a hop, and then she gained access to some new moves. So she has access to this light attack, which is going to be this right here. So she could chain it into itself, just can combo, as you can see. She has access to this flip attack. So if the opponent is trying to go for lows, you can actually flip over some lows with this attack right here. So this is very nice in tandem with this. So you can actually stop people trying to actually match lows on you. And then she has access to this heavy attack, which is going to be this come in that you see right here. Now when she actually does this attack, it actually takes her out of it, as you can see. So it takes her out of it, but when spaced correctly, this actually can lead to combo opportunities. So when spaced out, you can actually get a combo from this, which is very nice. So it's something you can use inside of the neutral option and then try to get a combo opportunity from it. It's not going to be something you use up close. You can get out of the stance, by the way, if you want to press B5D again. You just press it again and you get out of the stance, and that's pretty much how you're going to get out of it. But these are the main tools that she got inside the stance. It's something you use pretty much in knockdown or when you're trying to like get in with something like this. So it can be used for an opportunity like that. Now this attack right here also has another property in the fact you can charge it up and it goes further like that. So you see, if I press it, it just goes that, and if I press it again here, charge up, and it goes a little bit further. So you can play around with it and try to actually, you know, get the perfect spacing to try to hit them with it, because once again, you don't want to be too close with it or super negative, but as long as you space it out, you can have that happen. So you want a character that has really good buttons, has the ability to like steal their turn back with all this tricky movement and stuff like that, or just create plus frames themselves like this, and have this ability to go into some unique stance pressure, and Yuel may be the character for you. He also has access to a fireball from his DP move. You just press the forward and light and you can get access to a DP. This move also covers a couple of different things. So you can have like the sort of overhead attack, and he has this attack that moves in while he slides on the spear. So he has a couple of different attacks he could do from this actual DP move. Now talking about his normals, very good normals, as you can see. So standing medium, very far attack, crouching medium, very far poke. Like this thing is massive, and it's standing heavy, really far. He moves in super far, as you can see, to hit the opponent. So if you want a character that definitely has a lot of range on their tools, then Anre is definitely a character for you. He also has the ability to slide with his sweep. So his sweep is going to be a slider, which is going to be unique to him. Another unique thing about this character is the fact that they actually have access to a parry. So their unique ability is going to be a parry, as you can see. So they're going to be able to parry, and this parry can also be done in the air. But this is not the only parry they have, because their actual reversal is going to also be another parry, and it has different follow-ups. So this is actually going to be a charge attack. However, once again, this game does have easy input, so you don't have to worry about that too much if you're not too comfortable with charge attacks. So the light version is going to do this little shoulder tackle. The M version is going to do this sort of like stab, and the EX version is going to do like the series of both of them together. So there's multiple things you can do, as you can see, from the actual parry. And even if they don't hit the parry, then you still have something to come out, which is quite nice itself. The last of his special moves is going to be this twirl move, which is pretty much like combo filler. You pretty much see it in a lot of combos. The good thing about this is it is going to be his wall bounce. So the EX version is going to give him the wall bounce, so he can continue his combos from that. So you're going to be using this a lot in combos to actually get your things to happen and to continue pressuring your opponent, or to continue furthering your damage inside of your combos. So once again, if you want a character that has very good range and poke your opponent from very far, but also has the ability to have like some nice counter abilities when people actually start to get in, then Anre may be the character for you. Now, talking about Eustace and Six. So if you want a character that actually has some zoning capabilities as well, but you don't really want to poke people with spears, but you want to have a gun instead, Eustace may be your man, because this character has pretty good zoning capabilities as well as some actual set play to boot. So talking about his zoning capabilities, he has this shot right here, and yes, he is a charge character, but once again, do not have to use charge motion. You can use the easy input and it's just as fast. You can see I'm just spamming, I'm walking forward, and I'm doing the charge motion. He has his other charge move, which is down and up. So this one is back and forward, the shot. This one is down and up for the volleyball thing. So he has multiple different versions that cover different angles. So this covers that angle, this one covers like straight up, and this one puts out two of them. So different things you could do for those. So these are two of his special moves that are going to be the crucial point of his zoning. The other thing that is very crucial to this character is going to be the bomb toss. Now the bomb toss is also going to help his zoning, because you can toss it out, cover another space, or you can put it out really far like that and sort of just, you know, bully your opponent with having something else out there while you're actually tossing out stuff like this. You're doing this, you're tossing out more bombs, and it just keeps the opponent there. So the bombs are very good for stuff like that. It's also very good for like your Oki situation. So talking about his 2U, very long reaching 2U, as you can see. So his sweep is very far. You can toss out a bomb afterwards and actually put it on block for your opponents. So they are forced to block it after they wake up, and you can come in afterwards and actually go for a combo. So this is going to be something that's very good with him as far as things that you do. You can do things with your buttons and just have pressure, just constantly doing bombs, resetting your pressure, because the bomb is going to be something that is going to basically reset the pressure for you, as you can see. So it's going to be something very, very good. Now the unique thing about the bomb is how it works with his actual normal. So the EX version is actually a sticky bomb, and the sticky bomb is going to stay on them until you press a button that actually detonates it. If you don't, it will just go away. So you press something that can detonate it, they'll explode like that, and this is going to give you bigger damage than what you were going to get before. So see, it pops him up in the air, and you actually get a damage opportunity that wasn't there before. So this is how he's going to get his big damage, is by putting the sticky grenade on them and going from that. So you can actually do this in tandem with like just putting it on them like this and actually going for a big hit. So if you get like a counter hit, you can actually combo into the sticky grenade and actually get some big damage happening from there. Talking about his normals, the normals are very good. Like you have this crouching light kick, as you see. Standing light kick, very good. His medium is actually not that bad as well. Crouching medium, very good. Standing heavy, very good range on this. And his standing U attack is also very good. It comes in and it has this one hit, and you can press it again and actually do this shot, as you can see. You can do this shot, and it has a pretty nice delay you can have on it. So you can do it immediately, or you can actually delay it for a bit and actually have it come off as a delay, so where you can actually sort of mess up the opponent's timing when it comes to trying to mash out of that. So very good tools overall as far as how his normals and stuff work in tandem with him actually putting the grenades on you. So very, very scary thing. But we're not done yet, because he has access to this Rekka move. So this move is very unique because the light version goes very far. Nothing really crazy about that. It's just a dash. It's just a dash. Nothing too crazy. But you can actually stop it if you press the guard button. So pressing the guard button, you can see I can stop it very early. This is very good for when you're actually doing pressure. So you're doing pressure or something like this, and you do it, you can go for a throw because you ended it early, and yeah, it's very hard to see. And the reason why it's hard to see is because this one actually has an attack to it. So they could be thinking you're going for this version, but instead you go for the feint and go for the throw. But we're not done yet, because he has multiple things he can do from this version that we'll talk about. So the light version goes into this attack right here. This is going to be your safest option on block. So if you see you didn't hit him, then this is what you'll go into. Another attack he has is this low attack. So this is very good to go to for combos. You can do this and end in this to actually end your combos. He also has access to an uppercut. This uppercut is going to be invincible, as you see. So it's going to be an invincible portion inside of this uppercut, as you can see here. And one other thing he can do is going to these volley strikes from the air. So you can see you can do this and actually create some plus range from. So this is going to be pretty plus, and it gets them into a safety stance. You can also do these options off of the light version as well. So if you want to come in with, say, like the low from really far, you can do that, or come in with the invincible uppercut when you think your opponent is going to press something, you can do that. And of course, you get these options off of the EX version as well, which is going to be very fast, moving very far, as you can see. So you're going to be able to come in from very far with the invincible uppercuts and have immediate access to all of these moves based on what you press. So a lot of good options at his disposal, on top of having really good pressure when it comes to the volleyball strikes on top of having access to just the overall zoning and the presence of the bombs in the neutral, and of course during pressure. So you want a character that excels at controlling the space, having access to set play, and having access to a lot of development options on the actual Rekka series that he has here. Then Eustace may be the character for you. Now, if you want a character that's going to get a little bit more up close and personal, then 6 may be the guy for you. This character is going to be extremely fast and have a lot of mobility options, similar to how we talked about for Lancelot, but he's going to have a lot more mix-up when it comes to the things he could do and creating plus frames for themselves. So his buttons aren't going to be the best when it comes to range, as you can see, just because he is a character that is trying to get up close and personal. But what he does have at Exposal is the ability to actually, one, have this Berserker Barrage move where he does his multi-slashes. So he has a slash attack, and it has a few follow-ups you could do from it. So from the slash, you can actually go into this overhead, and this overhead is actually going to be plus. So you have a plus overhead you can actually go into. Also from this, you could go into this sort of kick move right here. This move is actually going to launch on actual EX version. So you see the EX version is going to launch, and you're going to be able to pick it up for a combo, as you can see. And then he has access to this sort of ender strike like this. Another thing he can actually do is actually teleport. If you do this attack and you press the unique button and go forward, he'll actually teleport behind you. And if you press it backwards, he'll actually go backwards. So this is going to be a good way to actually bait out certain reactions from your opponents. If they're trying to DP or something, you can actually sort of bait these things out by going for things like this. Because while the overhead is something that is plus, it can be mashed out on. So you do have to keep in mind that it can mash out of your overhead if you actually try to go for that to try to create plus frames for yourself all the time. Another thing this character has is a parry, and this is going to be one of those true parries. So if you actually do this, then you're going to have access to a guaranteed hit, unlike some of the other parries inside the game. But this is going to be a true parry that they are going to have. So this is something definitely to keep in mind. They also have access to this dive move right here. Now this dive move goes straight to the opponent, as you can see, like this. But you can actually hold it and actually come off the wall and do buttons as well. So you can do it in a very unique way to where you can actually come off the wall and come back to the opponent. So if you're doing pressure and then you want to come in back in like this, or especially if your back is against the wall, rather than going into them like that, you come off the wall and then come at them in this other different type of angle, then actually just going for the actual whole thing. So it can make for some tricky situations, especially when your back is against the wall and you're actually utilizing it. The other thing he has is this little fireball thing where he like sort of like does this sort of like X fireball. This is also going to be plus when done with the EX version, so this is something to keep in mind. You can also do this somewhat in the air, so you can see in the air he has access to like a couple of versions of it. Not the same thing, but sort of similar. And then this is going to be the EX version. The EX version is going to be very similar to the other one, as you can see. It's going to come down and you can sort of do it. But the one thing about his is it seems like you cannot actually do it on an actual hit. Some of that I have Cagliostro can actually do the EX version of her teleport. He's not gonna have access to that from like at least crouching opponents. So it's not gonna be something you're gonna be doing jump ins into like more plus frames into actual like full block strings. So just keep that in mind. But if you want a character that has a lot of movement options and a lot of ways to actually, you know, come in with a bunch of plus frames, have access to multi different options as far as the ability to go into different things off of a Rekka pressure string, then Seox may be the character for you. Now, talking about Vira and Anila. So Vira is going to be a pretty unique character when she actually transforms, but outside of transformation, she is a pretty standard all-around character with some pretty good normals. So standing medium, very far-reaching normal, very good normal. Crouching medium, also a pretty decent normal as well. Her standing heavy is not going to have as much range as her standing medium, but it's going to be a very good button nonetheless. Very good button there. And her crouching light is also going to be pretty good, as well as her standing light. So very good buttons all around for this character. Just some very solid buttons. Now, as far as their special moves start to go, they do have access to a unique fireball in the form of this sort of spirit that they put out. So the spirit actually just goes a certain distance, and it does like sort of like this emitting ray. And yeah, you pretty much do have to like know where this thing's going to go to actually get it to happen. Now the EX version will actually track where the opponent is, so you don't have to worry about that. And this is pretty much the extent of how her fireball is. So pretty much just covered a set distance and it goes and does this thing. Now her other attack is going to be this light attack right here, where she sort of like swipes the ground. The M version of this actually is going to be plus. So while it looks like this may be an overhead, it's not actually an overhead, but it is something that's going to be plus, and it actually does get over lows. So if you're doing pressure like this and a person is trying to match a low, you can actually go over the low and actually hit them, and if they happen to block, you actually are just plus, so you get ability to get plus frames once again, which is quite nice. Another attack she's going to have is this multi-stab attack, so this is going to be something you're going to be using quite a bit as well. You're going to be seeing this attack inside of pressure and inside of sort of combos, because in combos this is going to be one of your main things you're going to be doing, especially in the corner, because this is going to be her wall bounce. So once again, this is her wall bounce to actually continue her damage, to actually push for more damaging confirms later. Now, the real unique thing about this character is going to be the fact that their U is going to actually be a command grab when they are in their normal state, but once they actually command grab you, she transforms, and this changes the character drastically, because her U now turns into this flip kick, which allows her to actually float in the air. You can actually hop off of it, you can dash forward multiple times, she could come off of it with a giant stab. She has multiple different things she could do. She could come off of it and like press buttons afterwards, so she could come down, press buttons, or she can actually do like hops and stuff. So she can hop up, you can air dash as well, so she has access to like a little air dash. Multiple different movement options she all of a sudden has when she is in this, and her series that is going to be this right here also has an ability to actually have an additional follow-up, which is going to be to do a cancel. So you don't have to do the last part of the hit, you can actually just do this cancel and follow up with an additional auto combo of sorts. So it allows her to extend her combos even further than actually going for the final hit itself. So this is going to be something that's highly unique to this character when it comes to actually changing things. Her moves just change along with her DP. Her DP now becomes this, which is still invincible, so it's still an invincible DP. The E version actually becomes this sort of like slow overhead attack, as you can see here. So the first attack, and then bam, it goes into like this overhead. So very unique that this character actually has a lot of different changing properties when it comes to their actual moves. Besides that, not too much else has changed from this character outside of, once again, the flipping moves and stuff. This do create different block strings. It's going to allow her to do different types of pressures and stuff. You're going to have to learn when you're actually trying to play this character. One other thing that do change though is her projectile. When the EX version, she actually brings out like these other little orbs, and they actually do more hits, so it actually is easier for you to confirm the situation. So from further away, you can actually come in and actually confirm the projectile hits, and once again, the EX version will track where the opponent last was at, so it makes it a little bit easier for you to actually control the situation. So if you love characters that have standard toolkits but also have the ability to transform and have crazy movement, then Vira may be the character for you. Now, talking about Anila is going to be a pretty straightforward all-around character with some basic things that you would normally see with a character like this. So she's going to have access to a fireball, which is going to be this sort of ram attack. So the light version is a little bit slower, the M version is really fast, and this version is a little bit slower, but she can actually run behind it a bit because it does multiple hits, so that's something good for her. She also has access to the ability to ride one like this, and she can ram it into the opponent. The M version is going to be slower but causes a wall bounce. Also, it pushes her really far away on block, so this is going to be something that's going to be very safe for her to do if it's blocked by the opponent. And she has the ability to actually throw it, so if you press forward, you can actually just let go and throw it at the opponent, which is going to be good. So you can actually just throw it at the opponent like this if you press back like this, and it forces them to think that you're coming in, but you actually don't, and you just actually use it as a projectile. So it makes it a little bit tricky for the opponent to know what you're doing. She also has access to a standard DP, so this is going to be her DP. Not the craziest as far as the range that it covers, but it does the job nonetheless. And it has this EX version that you could do, which is both being invincible right there. Another crazy thing about this character is their 2U, which is going to be this giant sweep, as you can see right here. So very, very big poke for a sweeping attack. But that's not the only big normal to have. Their standing light is also pretty big. Standing medium is also very big normal. Crouching medium is not as big as the standing medium, but still big nonetheless. And this standing heavy is also pretty big to boot. So very nice normals that go with their toolkit. And yeah, they just got some pretty nice things that could go with that. Now, one other thing they do have access to is this hopping attack right here. This is going to be something that can like restart pressure for them. They could do it to actually just, you know, reset things, or actually just try to go for some tricky, ambiguous setup. So it's really fast if you do it like the right way, and it could go into like different angles. You could cross up with it, depending on the version that you do. One other thing about this that go in tandem is their jump light attack is actually mashable. So you can actually use this with this in order to actually create some very tricky situations where you're actually just mashing a light attack on them and in the air, and it actually just catches them off guard because of the amount of hits that it actually can do. So you get a multiple, like probably like 2 to 3 jump light attacks while they are trying to stand block your actual jumping attack. So actually very interesting that she actually has something like that. Her standing unique attack is going to be this right here. So it does 4 hits, and then if you press it again, it actually does this last like giant sweep thing right there, where she like sort of like lifts her legs up. Nothing too crazy about it. It's very simple, and just used in certain basic confirms. Nothing too crazy to write home about there. One of the things for sure is that this is going to be your wall bounce. So once again, the wall bounce is going to be the thing that's going to give you your big combos, and this is going to be the thing that's going to start her big combos right there for her. So if you want another simple yet effective all-around character that has some unique movement options when it comes to like jumping around, or just having the ability to have like the ability to come in and do fireballs, then Anila may be the character for you. Now, talking about Siegfried and Grimnir. So both of these characters have a huge amount of range on their normals. So Siegfried's standing light kick is massive. Like, this is a very good standing light kick. Crouching light, nothing too crazy there, but their crouching medium, very big button. As you can see, this thing goes really far, and standing medium also is very good. Standing heavy, however, this is a massive attack that covers a lot of range, pretty much like as much as Percival's, is not, probably slightly more. So very big attack. And crouching heavy, of course, they're giant swinging anti-air that go past the health bars. So Siegfried is going to be another all-around character, but a little bit more slower inside of his sort of game plan and playstyle. But he has access to really good tools like this fireball and this giant fireball that goes very slow, that he can sort of run behind. And because he has something like that, once again, he's going to be one of the characters that can sort of bully their opponent inside of the corner space. So doing something like this can be very hard for opponents to deal with. He also has a slam down sword attack, which is going to be something that he could use for big damage when it comes to certain hits. You could get something like this and go for a giant damage. So his damage output is ridiculous when it comes to certain things. This version of the attack is going to actually be very good in the fact that it's going to allow him to be able to create his advantage and continue to do pressure for himself. He also has access to a DP, which is going to be, of course, invincible when it comes to the M version and the EX version like all the others. And he has access to this Reckolite move when it comes to the form of his 2-2L. So this is going to have quite a few follow-ups that you could do. So the light follow-up is going to be this sort of slice up attack. The M follow-up is going to be this counter, which if you do it on blocking and a person press the button, you'll be able to parry and actually hit them when you actually do this. And then he has this double swiping attack like this. This is going to be very good for opponents that like to try to match low attacks, because he actually hops up in the air, so can catch people trying to match lows. And then of course he has this command grab, so if they're too scared to press anything, you can command grab them, and this does push very far into the corner. So if they're not already in the corner, this does push people pretty far towards the corner, if I may say so myself. So it goes pretty far, and as you can see, you do push them quite close to the corner when it comes to the command grab, especially when they're near the mid-screen area. A couple other unique things for Siegfried is that he has a slam down attack. This attack is really good, one that it hits from behind compared to just some that just hits in front, and it also stalls his momentum in the air. So once again, things that stall your momentum, when a person tries to anti-air you, you have the ability to sort of like make them mistime their anti-air, which is always very good. And the main unique thing about this character is the ability to sacrifice health to actually get this sort of buff. And you see it has 3 stacks and it starts to go down. When it actually goes down, you actually lose all your stacks, but to keep it back up, you just sacrifice some more health. As you can see, the health that I'm actually sacrificing is because training room, but it's like, you know, you see that a little bit of health actually does go away. But this increases his damage by a lot. Just to showcase the difference in the damage here, if I do this standing heavy into a super, we can see the amount of damage that this does normally, which is nothing to snuff at. He is a high damage character, so you can see he does about probably like a good 50% there. However, if you have 3 stacks and you hit with the same thing, look how much damage he takes now. This damage difference is nothing to snuff at. This is absolutely ridiculous. So it went from taking a 50% to about 90% damage. Crazy damage, right? So this character can be very scary in the right hands. If you're willing to play on the edge a little bit and have your health like sort of depleting while you're actually playing the character, you make up for it for the amount of damage that this character can just put on the table for the most basic strategies and the most basic straight hits with his massive normals that he have. Now, talking about Grimnir, who is going to be one of the newer characters inside the game, and at first glance, this character seems pretty good. So they have a standing light attack, and yes, this is actually a low for their stand light. Their crouching light is not bad as well, pretty good range on that. And medium, very good range, and crouching medium, not the best range, but it does the job. And his stand heavy, while it does seem a pretty laggy because the second part of it does come out a little bit slower than you may like, it does have some good range to it for sure. The first part of it actually is a hit itself. As you see, you actually can get this part to hit, so it is a hit itself that happens. But if you're trying to hit with the second part, it does have a little bit of lag to it because he has to do that first hit at first. But it's a very good move. And of course, his crouching heavy going off the screen, not even just past the health bar to off the screen, very large move, so you don't have to worry about people jumping on you with this character. Now, one of the unique things about this character is going to be the ability of having the ability to put these sort of glyphs on the field. And with these glyphs, he can use his unique ability. Now, the thing about his unique ability right off the bat is it automatically jumps to what they say is the last one you put on. So you see it puts on, he jumps to it and it sort of glows. Once it's glowing, you can choose any direction you want to fly and you will go in that direction. And yes, it does have a hitbox. So if you go, you see I go towards them and it has a hitbox to it. So you can use this and create some really nice interesting block strings or some really nice pressure strings as well. This also allows him to just sort of fly across the screen in very unique ways just because he has access to this. So you can sort of like play very safe because if you have these out, you can sort of just go behind. So if you like have it and you want to bait out something, he'll fly backwards. It depends on where they are on the screen, depending on where you actually fly. So if you want to go this way and then go this way, like so many different things you could try to do to trick up your opponent as far as how you're actually going to move. Very unique way to actually make a character. Now, talking about his other special moves, he's going to have access to this sort of like dive spin move that you see right here, which is going to be pretty nice. This is going to be safe on a block, which is nice. The other version, this version, is going to actually be unsafe on block. However, at a distance, you can actually make this safe. So this is going to be actually plus, not just safe, but plus at a distance. So very good move. This is also going to be his wall bounce. So this is going to be his combo starter. That's going to like actually kick off his combos in the corner. He also has access to this sort of like DP like move where he does his spin. So this is the light version, this is the heavy or medium version, and this is the EX version right here. Now notice that these aren't invincible. However, he does have an invincible version if you use the ultimate skill. So he has to spend 50 meter for a DP, but he has one nonetheless. So he does have a DP that he can utilize. On top of all of this, he also has access to a fireball. So he has access to a standard fireball, which is like this wind tornado. The light version just a little bit shorter than the medium version. So the medium version goes a little bit further. And then the EX version goes a little bit further than both, doing massive hits. So definitely very good to have a fireball at your disposal. As far as the rest of his kit, having the ability to come in with plus frames, having massive normals, and then having the ability to set up these glyphs so you can fly around the screen at your disposal and sort of come in and actually get combos. Because of how this hits, it actually is going to be plus enough to where it is going to actually create combos for you. So if you do hit somebody while you're flying around the screen with that, it is a combo opportunity that you can have. And the last unique thing about this character is that he can sort of use some of his special moves and then go into his unique ability. So say for example, if I have a couple of glyphs behind Siegfried here and I want to get closer to it, I can use the spin attack, get close enough, and then actually be able to use it because we got close enough. So using these to actually push them forward enough, or using this to actually send them in the air so you can use access to your glyphs, is going to be very important inside of his combos to actually extend his damage in the mid screen and in the corner. So very good that he have access to that so he can actually get closer to the glyphs so he can actually get more damage. So if you want a character that can control space with a fireball, have access to big normals, have the ability to come in with this sort of like lunge move, have the ability to set up glyphs so they can actually fly across the screen and create opportunities to get combos and mix-ups for themselves, then Grimnir may definitely be the character for you. Now, talking about another new character, Nier and Beelzebub. Now, Nier is going to be very unique to this game. Starting off with her normals are pretty good when she has Death with her. So her standing medium is going to be this attack right, you can see right here, and her crouching medium is also going to be this. So nothing too crazy, but not bad. Standing heavy, very massive normal, actually does a lot of range, you can see. So this is going to be one of her main attacks you're definitely going to be using in the neutral, along with her standing medium. Both pretty good attacks with some nice range. Her sweep also has some decent range when she has Nier on her as well. As you can see, this is some pretty massive range for a sweep. So very good sweep when it comes to actually having Death with her. Now, how to actually utilize Death. So Death is going to be her special move. So if you see, if I press a button, Death actually comes out and a card comes out. Then Death is actually going to be on the screen. You can recall Death back with the U button. So with the U button, you can recall Death. This actually does have a hit to it as well, so you can actually hit. If you hold it, it actually does a large charge up and actually wall splash, you see. So you can actually charge it up and do extra combo damage from the actual charge version. So you can do that in certain combos as well. So once again, when you press a button, death comes on the screen and you could do these different attacks. So this is going to be the DP version. This is going to be a little slash attack that sends the opponent back in. And this is going to be the dash attack where death actually comes in. Now the unique thing about this is you can actually sequence them all together. So as you can see, I can mash them in different sequences and they will all come out accordingly. This is how you actually use the icons at the top. So the first attack is pretty much free. The next time you chain one, then it actually utilize one. So you actually pick what you want in advance, and this is how you form sequences of things that you can do. This also changes when you actually use the EX. So all of them typically use one. When you start to use EXs though, they start to take two at a time. So the first one is going to actually be used, and then the next one is going to cost two. When it actually fully depletes, you no longer have access to death for a short period of time. And when you have no death with you, your normals are not the best. So you see, my normals are completely changed. So I no longer have that good sweep. I no longer have that good stand medium. I don't have that good standing heavy. Your normals are still decent, but they're not as good as when you have them. So now that it's back, you can see the difference between the normals. Much better, definitely better range than when you have death. So when you have death, your normals are better. The other unique thing about this is the B version of the moves are all very slow, but also are very good for setups. So the B version of this is going to be very plus. This version is going to be very plus as well, and this is very good for setups. So once you knock an opponent down, this is going to be something that's very good for the character to do. You also has this, which can pull them back in, and this is also going to be pretty plus as well. And then you have access to the DP one. The interesting thing about these sequences as well is that when you do sequences, you actually make things that aren't actually safe because you actually recover in time while the sequences are happening. So take an example like this. As you can see, this move is normally -6 by itself. However, in a sequence, because I'm actually recovering while the rest of the moves are happening, this move is now +28. So you can vastly change the actual frame data of moves and make it very tricky to know when it's your opponent's turn to actually take their turn because of the different sequences that you can create with Nier. So she becomes a very, very scary character once you get things started like that. Now, one other unique thing about this character is the fact that they don't have to care about really their EX moves. The reason they don't have to care about the EX moves as other characters do is because their EX moves just naturally just come back. So they can keep spamming their EX moves in combos, and there is no cooldown as long as they have death. So this character really doesn't have to worry about cooldowns. Just to show an example. Just like that. So you see, I use the same special move, same EX multiple times in the same combo, and that's because they do not have cooldowns for their moves as long as they have the love. Now, when they don't have love, they just don't have any cooldowns. So that basically means the character really don't have to worry about cooldowns. Rather than worrying about the cooldowns, they have to worry about managing the love meter. Now, there is ways to actually make it to where the meter actually is not something that you're affected by, and that's by their install. So once you use an install, you pretty much have access to all your moves pretty much without having to worry about them actually going away. But once you actually leave the install, you actually lose death for a short period of time, like as if you get to 0. So what happens is, if you save, you have like 1 or 2 left, this may be a super that you probably want to put into your game plan, because it actually allows you to actually finish your combo off rather than having to worry about going into the deficit where you actually don't have death. So this is something that is going to be very unique to this character, and the main game plan of this character is the resource management of death itself. Now, talking about Beelzebub. Now, Beelzebub also got some pretty nice normals when it comes to his medium. So his standing medium is going to be this very large kick, as you can see. His crouching medium is going to be this very large crouching kick, and his standing heavy is this giant wing attack. So very good normals, along with his crouching heavy, which also reaches the health bars. I'm thinking that's a common theme nowadays. But he also has some pretty good special moves to actually go along with this stuff. So he has this ability to toss out these projectiles, and he can charge all of them. So you can charge this single projectile, and it actually travels a little bit slower. Same thing with his giant projectile that sends multi projectiles at you. You can charge it up and make it go very fast, across the screen, but also allows it to do multiple hits, which allows you to run behind it. Same thing with the EX version, which does both of them. You can charge it and you can sort of go behind it to actually push your way in. On top of having a projectile, he also has a standard DP. So his DP is going to be this orb he puts around him. And yes, the orb does hit from behind. So if an opponent does try to cross you up, you actually are covered from behind. The medium version and EX versions will both be invincible for you. He also has access to this wing attack. So the wing attack is very massive, as you can see, so it goes very good with his standing heavy because it actually covers a big portion of the screen. And the medium version is actually going to be this low attack, as you can see. So you got a version that is going to be a mid and a version that is going to be this low. Now the EX version is actually going to be this giant attack that is going to do this wall bounce for you. So you're going to get a wall bounce opportunity off of this, just like that, which is of course going to allow you to extend your combos even further. Now, one of the unique things about this character is the ability to actually pull the opponent in with this orb. So what this does is pull them in to this giant orb and allow you to actually confirm off this. If you don't confirm off of it, then it is still going to be something that's going to be plus. So if they're within the vicinity of being pulled in, they are definitely going to be pulled in very, very fast. He also has access to this dive move, and this dive move is very scary because of course he can make this thing actually plus, and plus enough to where you get combos off of it because it actually launches in the air. And if it is this block, he just can of course do his own block string. So he has a very nice kit overall that allows him to do a bunch of things, of course with a teleport as well. So this teleport is going to allow him to actually just go behind the opponent, as you can see. Very, very good tool, especially when dealing with other projectiles. Now it does have a set distance, so it doesn't always go behind the opponent, but pretty far away you can actually get behind the opponent and start doing your thing. So having access to a teleport is nothing to snuff at because it's going to let you win other fireball wars and close the distance versus opponents that are trying to do some other sneaky things. He has access to this very large JU button as well, which is very hard to anti-air because of how far in it actually reaches. So from very high up it actually hits the opponents, but it makes it very hard for people to try to anti-air him. So he has access to some really good jump in, having access to a dive kick which halts his momentum, which makes it hard for him to actually get anti-aired, and have access to a pretty good fireball game because of the ability to charge these fireballs, run behind them, and also delay the timings of when people would try to dodge them. And lastly, to talk about the two Belials. So the original form Belial is going to be a character that sells in the mid-range and of course stacking on some pressure when it comes to his pinwheel. So his normals are going to be pretty good actually. So he has a standing light kick, which is pretty good. His crouching medium or crouching light was going to be pretty good. His standing medium is this attack right here where he hits you with his palm. And his crouching medium, which is going to be this attack right here, which is actually plus, and plus enough to where you can actually combo from it. His standing heavy is going to be his giant forward moving double slice attack, as you can see here. However, it's not going to be special cancelable unless you hit with the first hit. So you got to cancel on the first hit. The second hit is not special cancelable, but it is a very, very far-reaching attack, as you can see. Talking about special moves, he have access to this little claw attack, which is going to be one of his main enders. The X version isn't too much crazier. It's just attacks on some more damage. He has access to a DP as well, but the M version is going to be pretty unique in the fact that it's not frame 1 invincible, but slightly invincible on the way up, and then it comes down with an attack, with this attack actually being plus. So because it's so slow on the way down, it's actually something you could do in pressure, and it's actually going to be plus. It doesn't hit opponents on the ground, but it hits on the way down from the air. EX version is just going to be a standard invincible DP, however, which has 2 hits, so it can be a little bit tricky for people to punch it, because they may try to punch you on the way down, but then you actually come down with that hit, and it can actually catch some people off guard. But it's also going to have access to a unique fireball, with this being how his fireball looks, and this is the medium version right here where it goes up in the air. Now the unique thing about it is the fact that he has different versions of it. So if you press back in light, it actually goes upwards like this, and if you press back in medium, it actually goes back like this. And the heavy version is going to do a pinwheel like this. So you can catch different angles depending on what the opponent is doing. So say if you threw the projectile and your opponent jump, you can toss it up and hit them. Well, say if they jump and they're a little too far, you can go back and do it like that. So multiple different ways to cover yourself if you see the opponent is trying to jump over your fireballs. And the H version is going to be this giant pinwheel that allows you to actually run in behind it and actually create combo opportunities for yourself. is actually very good and very scary to deal with in pressure, because the fireball don't necessarily have to hit. You can actually cancel it fast enough to where this is the first thing to hit the opponent. So you can do pressure opportunities where you have this out and then run in behind it and actually go for combos like that. It can, however, be mashed out if the opponent does press something, because you are sacrificing the actual hit of this for the actual startup of the pinwheel. But if they do not mash and they're scared enough, you can actually still turns or actually go for combo opportunities that weren't there before, because you were able to get this out. Same thing applies to the M version. If you press light, it actually goes down like this. If you press back, it actually goes backwards like this. And if you press the H, it actually does a pinwheel that comes down like this. So he's able to cover multiple different ways to cover the screen with his projectiles based on the different versions that you have at your disposal. So he has multiple different ways to cover his grounds while having access to some pretty good normals to boot, as far as coming in with this and coming in with moves like this and this. If that wasn't enough, he also has access to a command grab. So yes, he has a command grab special that has him walk across the screen and then he command grabs. The EX version is going to be pretty fast. As you can see, you can't combo off of it, but it is going to do a decent amount of damage for what it is worth. On top of all of this, he also has access to a parry. So he has a stance where he walks forward like this, and if the opponent hits him at any time during his animation, he'll come down and stomp on their head and it'll stay a parry, as you can see. So he does have access to that and a stump attack, which is very unique too. So this stump attack can actually be used in a way to where you can actually choose where you actually go. So when you actually stump on the opponent, you can choose to jump forward or backwards. You see, so I can jump forward like this, or I can choose to jump backwards. So you can choose where you go, and it's very good because it halts his momentum, like we always talk about. So it's going to be very hard to anti-air this, and he can choose to go forward or back, further baiting things or further extending his pressure if it's hit or blocked. So very good tool overall to have, because of the ability to actually jump forward and back, and being able to halt your momentum is never bad as well. Now, talking about Avatar Belial, so this is going to be the big baddie version of him, and most of his normals are actually the same. So his standing light is going to be the same, his crouching light, his standing medium, and his crouching medium are going to be things you're going to be familiar with. However, crouching medium this time is actually going to do a knockdown, so it's going to be slightly different, but the same animation nonetheless. Now his heavy buttons are where things get a little bit different, because now he has access to this giant like Scythe attack and this other Scythe attack for his crouching heavy, as you can see. But what makes this character different is mainly a lot of his special moves. So he's going to have access to this giant fireball, as you can see. It's going to be like these rocks that come on the ground, and they're going to pretty much cover the screen. The M version is actually going to be these projectiles that come out that covers a huge portion of the screen, as you see. Now, the other unique thing about this character is when he uses the EX moves, he actually sacrifices his life, and he gains, you know, the special EX properties of him. And that is pretty much the thing with him, is he sacrifices his life to actually do his EXs. So this is going to be his DP EX. As you see, it's invincible for the medium version and the EX version right there. This other thing he has is this flight that has multiple different things he can do. So he can come down with a sort of a stump attack. So if he's close to you, he can stomp you. If he's up here, he can dive kick you as well. And then he has access to this other giant thing that's like a seemingly unblockable attack, so you have to worry about this. It's a very tricky attack for a lot of people to deal with. And then he has access to, of course, some eye lasers. So he do some eye laser stuff, which also he could do with his normal version as well. They can be ducked, however, so they're not that crazy. He also has access to a regular dive kick from his JU as well that he can utilize, just like this. And then he has access to this sort of like lunging attack where he sort of goes in the air. But once again, this is another move that's going to be very good at dealing with people that are pressing crouching light buttons. So any attack that's like low, he can sort of hop over them with this move. So it's very good at keeping people honest from mashing a light attack. They have to stand up and try to mash you because you have access to a tool like this. And once again, all these moves, when used with the EX version, are going to use your actual meter. So it's going to use your health. As you see, your health is going to get used when you're actually using these moves. So that's something to keep in mind when you're playing this character, is yes, he does sacrifice his health to do the things that he's doing. And that pretty much briefly covers every character inside of Granblue Fantasy Versus Rising. Hope you all found this useful so you can pick what character is best for you. As always, if you like anything I had to say, drop me a like, I greatly appreciate it. And if you hear more from me, follow me on my socials. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so the next video goes live. As always, my name is Dyken, and I'll see you next time. Signing out.